Hi there, Dana here, and today I'm going to show you how I knit the stitch pattern that's featured in my Dolores sock design. This lovely wrapped dropped stitch pattern that runs down the center of the front and back of both socks. So what I've done so far is I have knit up to the pattern panel on the sock. So this is a simple 2-row repeat worked over 10 stitches. So I'm at the first stitch of my stitch pattern and I'm going to wrap this first stitch 3 times. 1, 2, 3, which creates a stitch with 3 wraps. I'm then going to knit 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to wrap 3 times the last stitch in the stitch panel. 1, 2, 3, creating that 1 stitch with 3 wraps. Now I'm going to knit until I get to one of the wrap stitches. So I've now reached the next pattern panel on the back of the sock. So again, I'm going to wrap that first stitch 3 times and then take it off the needle as normal. Then I'm going to knit 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to wrap that last stitch 3 times and take it off the needle as normal. And that is the first row of the Dolores stitch pattern. So now I'm starting row 2 of the 2-row stitch pattern. You can see that I happen to be working in magic loop, but you can use any method for working in the round that you prefer. DPNs, 2 circs, 2 at a time socks, whatever floats your boat. So now when I get to that first wrapped stitch, the one that I've wrapped 3 times, I have a handy little spare DPN here, or cable needle or hairpin or whatever you happen to have within reach. And I'm going to slip that stitch off the needle, and it's just going to sit in front. And I like to use the little spare DPN because I was just letting it hang in front with nothing, but I did lose a couple of stitches and I found that frustrating to have to go back and pick up. So I then knit 4. Then I take that stitch that's sitting on the DPN waiting and I put it onto the left needle and I work it through the back loop. Then I slip the next 4 stitches purlwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, which brings me to the last wrap stitch, which I take my handy little spare DPN and I pull it off the needle and I let it hang out in front there. Then I slip these 4 stitches back purlwise to the left needle. Then I take the drop stitch that's sitting in front, return it to the left needle, and work it through the back loop. And then I knit 4, which brings me to the end of the pattern stitch. So both rows of the stitch pattern have been completed. So I'll show you when I get to the next wrap stitch one more time how I did that. So now I've reached the next wrap stitch for the pattern panel on the back of the sock. Once again, I have my spare DPN and I'm going to take that thrice wrapped stitch and I'm just going to let it hang out in front. Then I'm going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to take that stitch that's been hanging out, put it back on the left needle, and knit it through the back loop. Then I'm going to slip the next 4 stitches purlwise from the left needle to the right, which brings me to the second wrap stitch, which I'm just going to slip off and let it hang out in front while I slip those 4 stitches back purlwise to the left needle. Slipping them purlwise because we don't want them to be twisted. We don't want to change their orientation. And slipping the drop stitch to the left needle, knitting it through the back loop, and then knitting 4, which brings me to the end of the pattern stitch. And that's it. That is how I work the Dolores pattern stitch. If you have any questions, pop by my Ravelry group, Dana Gervais Designs, stop by the hashtag Sockstar Facebook group, comment on this video, or you can email me at hello@danagervaisdesigns.com. I will put links in the box below. Thanks very much for watching. I can't wait to see your socks.